It's almost Father's Day, and families all over the country are looking into those Ancestry.com kits, imagining a day when their dad can take that little cotton swab and rub his cheek and find out a little bit more about who he is and who his people were. There's a few reasons we're so into this. First of all, Dad already has enough ties and coffee mugs, and we need something novel, and this fits that bill pretty well. But also, because somewhere deep inside, we know that our history matters to us. Even if we've gone our whole life without knowing things about our people or where we came from or what they accomplished, when we learn those things, it informs something about who we are and who we will be because our history matters. The Bible makes these same sort of assumptions about the power of a people's story. That's why the Bible didn't come to us as just a book of rules and regulations. God revealed God's self to us through the story of a people. The Bible is mostly history. And even in these history books, the writers continually call back to past events to remind the people where they came from, because those things matter to where they are and to where they're going. All over the Old Testament, you hear this phrase, remember when you were slaves in Egypt. The Jewish people set up festivals and meals and songs and have a million markers that help them remember who they were, because who they were informs who they are now and where they will be. It's impossible to imagine a Jewish person in the Bible separating their own personal identity from the story of their people. Even their understanding of God comes to them through history, because we know that history matters to who we were and to who we are and to who we will be. And that's why we can't talk about race relationships in the United States without talking about the history of the African slave trade, or the terrorism of Jim Crow era lynchings, or the civil rights struggle. All of those things inform who we are. And there's a chance, white people, that you were tracking with me all the way through the bit about Ancestry.com because it's noble and cute and silly. And there's a good chance, Christian people, that you followed me all the way through the bit about the Bible because it's so obvious that the Bible couches our identity in the history of God's revelation to people. But you lost me when we talked about slavery, because we have all sorts of defense mechanisms. Our guilt or our shame or our pride or our embarrassment cause us to not be able to look at those parts of our history head on, even though we know that our history affects who we are and who we will be. The word amen means so be it. I pray that we would have the courage to look at our history as it is head on and create a more beautiful and holy future.